Clara had never considered herself a caregiver. She was an art student, barely making ends meet by selling sketches in the park and tutoring kids in the evenings. Her older sister Laura, however, worked full-time as a nanny. When Laura called, her one morning with a sore throat and a desperate plea to fill in just for a day, Clara hesitated but agreed only because Laura sounded exhausted and the job was in a posh neighborhood uptown. She arrived at the enormous townhouse with her sketchpad tucked in her bag, uncertain and nervous. A butler opened the door and led her inside, where she met Olivia, a shy but curious little girl with bright eyes and a mind that never stopped asking questions. Clara quickly warmed up to her creative storytelling making Olivia laugh until her stomach hurt. The day flew by with drawing games, imaginary tea parties, and stories about magical kingdoms. But what Clara didn't expect was the man who came home that evening. Tall, well-dressed, with an air of quiet authority and kindness, Ethan Whitmore was Olivia's father and, unbeknownst to Clara, one of the most successful tech entrepreneurs in the city. He thanked Clara politely, noticing how Olivia clung to her and begged her to come again. Clara, flustered, assured him it was just a one-time favor. But when Laura's illness stretched into days, Clara returned. With each visit, Ethan observed her patience, creativity, and the genuine warmth she brought into his daughter's life. Olivia, who had barely spoken to her previous nannies, now opened up. Talked about her mother who had passed away, and how Clara made her feel like the sun came inside the house. Still, Clara remained oblivious to Ethan's status or wealth. He dressed modestly, drove a regular car, and spent his evenings playing piano with his daughter. To her, he was just a kind, quiet man doing his best. But then came the day Clara found an envelope on the kitchen counter accidentally opened while cleaning. Inside was a magazine with Ethan on the cover, under the headline, "The Reclusive Tech Giant Behind a Billion-Dollar Empire." Her heart stopped. Clara was shaken. She had spent hours in the home of a billionaire without even realizing it. She wasn't sure how to act anymore. Should she apologize, pretend nothing happened, or walk away? She chose honesty. When Ethan returned that evening, she gently asked why he never mentioned who he was. Ethan smiled softly and said, "Because people treat me differently once they know you didn't." And Olivia smiled for the first time in weeks because of that. Clara, still overwhelmed, tried to distance herself. She stopped coming over, claiming Laura had recovered. But Olivia cried for days, begging for Clara. One rainy night, there was a knock at Clara's door. It was Ethan, drenched but determined. "You gave my daughter more than a smile. You gave her hope. I don't care if you're an artist or a nanny. I miss you." Clara returned, and over time, her bond with Olivia deepened. And so did her quiet affection for Ethan. They weren't from the same world, but their hearts met on the same level. Ethan began attending Clara's local art shows, quietly buying her unsold pieces under another name. And when Clara found out, she didn't feel insulted, she felt seen. The story reaches its emotional climax when Ethan organizes a surprise gallery exhibition of Clara's work in the heart of the city, titled Drawn with Love, featuring Olivia's art too. On the opening night, he kneels before her and says, "You were never just a nanny. You're the light in both our lives. Will you stay forever?" Clara, eyes full of tears, said yes, not because he was a millionaire, but because he had been rich in heart from the very beginning.